Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Vivek on the Washington Post, something that did not age well. Now, it says, quote, to Washington Post this January doesn't age too well, unquote. And in the picture he tweeted at the Washington Post, it says, business, sending dumb weapons from Israel to Ukraine is smart, according to analyst James Stavridis, Bloomberg. Now, in the article or little blurb, it says, the U.S. military announced last week that it would take 300,000 American 155mm artillery shells from a weapons stockpile in Israel and transfer them to the Ukrainian military. While not overly enthusiastic about the movement of the ammunition, the Israeli Defense Force officials said the rounds were U.S.-owned and that they were used as, and how they were used was, quote, American business. Now, interestingly enough, and sadly enough, you have the attacks by Hamas, and yeah, Israel probably could have used those weapons. Now, let me see here. What are the comments saying? And again, Vivek got about right shy of 1 million. So you've got 750,000 views in a single day, which is pretty darn good. Not to brag, but I got 6 views on my last tweet. Humble brag at NICTOPPING. Now, let's see here. Interestingly enough, you do have some pejorative responses. So usually with Vivek in the past, when you look at his Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, I'd say you'd have between 60 to 90% supportive of him. And then you have some pejorative, and then you have the group that's always Trump, who they just make jokes about him running for VP. Now, this one looks like you have a little more critique than usual. Now, one of the tie responses comes from W, although they get an F for marketing because their profile picture is nothing. There's no W. It's just a blob. Nevertheless, W says, quote, you're still talking about stuff you know nothing about, unquote. And he got 62 likes. See here? Now, Mark Kelly, this person says, quote, there's no indication that Israel is short of hardware, but where did the Hamas arms come from to mount this attack, unquote. Person got 83 likes. And interestingly enough, some reports are saying that they got the weapons from Afghanistan, where the U.S. and all its brilliance actually abandoned billions of dollars in small arms, planes, bombs, pretty much the whole military. We just left all of our gear there. Ah, yes. Politicians. That was a smart move to leave Afghanistan so quickly and so haphazardly, to not plan for actually destroying those weapons and them literally billions of dollars falling into enemy hands. Who could have seen that happening? Oh, yes, anyone with a modicum of intelligence. Now, let's see, what other thing? Well, let's see here. Someone by the name of Gypsy. And interestingly enough, their profile picture is of a frog. This person says, quote, sending weapons to de-escalate a conflict is similar to doing meth to stop a drug habit, unquote. Person got 34 likes. Interestingly enough. Adam Epstein, another very popular comment, this person says, quote, isn't your position to dial back the protection of Israel, Vivek, unquote. You got 55 likes. Another very popular response by Ethan Nechton said, quote, you're trying to score a political point, but your point is false. It's not weapons that were missing, but troops that were too busy guarding settlers, your boss, Trump, and GOP support. You're a sorry excuse for a political. Go back and try to make a buck off sick people, unquote. Grammar aside, trying to analyze what this person said, they got 160 likes. So it's one of the most popular responses. But troops are too big. I'm trying to reread this, trying to gain some understanding of this. I was going to say this grammar is just atrocious, to say the least. He says, too busy guarding settlers, your boss. Is he implying the troops were guarding Trump? What? Let me know what you think he meant in the comments. I'd be fascinated to hear what you had to say. Another person said by the name of Andres Camilo saying, quote, clearly you're just making shit up as you go just to score political points, unquote, getting 10 likes. A couple people are saying 1,000%, nothing by them ages well. Washington Post is trash, we all know it. Let's see. Oh yeah, Bitnar says, quote, don't forget all the equipment we left in Afghanistan for Hamas to use. absolute failure by the leadership of America right now, unquote, getting 11 likes. So there are, let's see here. Yeah, let's see, drones. There are a couple supporting of Vivek, but it looks like the support, let's see, support is not as positive as past. You have somebody by the name of Ulfus saying, quote, the U.S. shouldn't be arming other countries anywhere. We have problems of our own, unquote. Person got 7 likes. Now, the way I'm interpreting it, it sounds like the USA had a stockpile of weapons there, and it wasn't specifically intended for them. Now, granted, it definitely doesn't look good in hindsight because of the attack, but I know the U.S. does have bases and weapons depots across the globe, and at the time we are still giving Ukraine pretty much darn near everything but the kitchen sink, presumably because the kitchen sink is bolted down, but these days, who knows, they might just take the bolt cutters out, metaphorically speaking. They've only gotten $100 billion this far, and counting. So interesting enough, there's still a couple support, but perhaps one of his most controversial tweets thus far, as we've been covering him in the past couple of months, with, again, most of his previous posts getting between 80, let's be conservative, maybe 70 to 90% positive. So it is interesting to see kind of that shift for this specific topic, and it'll be interesting to see what voters, what are their thoughts, and how it may help or hinder other political rivals as the situation evolves. It'll be interesting to see, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you everyone again for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of October, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but it may help with the stuttering that I have. If you click that button, it might be the cure. We don't know, but together we could find out. Also, I greatly appreciate your feedback, especially if it's critical, because that's how you grow the most. So if you leave a comment, I greatly appreciate it. Also, liking the channel may or may not help. I have no idea how the algorithm works. It seems to change like the weather, but liking the videos is a good indicator that I'm doing a good job, or downvoting if I need to change some of the things accordingly. Also, lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.